earliest memories, I've been obsessed with Halloween.
Yeah.
And everything's
the best holiday.
My mom, when I was a kid, she'd throw all the parties, the school parties would come, all the kids would come over and we'd make like monsters out of like newspaper with balloons and stuff and masks, and we put dry ice in the pool and like, we'd do bobbing for apples, and all the kids would come over and we do trick-or-treating from our house, and like it was such a ritual, and it was a month-long ritual. Kids would come over on the weekends and carve pumpkins with us, and like, so as I got older, it was something that I was just, it became a ritual for me. And part of that was the music. And I think that was one of the quickest points of connection of Deep Cuts and myself when we first started working together was our mutual love for horror, spooky, Halloween, and the different parts of Halloween, which, range from like horror and gore and really hardcore stuff to like really like fun, friendly, campy, kids movies.
Dystopia tonight. Dystopia tonight.
And welcome to a very I love that you have a skull right now. That's so great. Guys, I'm super fucking pumped for this episode. We have amazing guests with us tonight. Welcome from Lvcrft, Little Pumpkin and Deep fucking Cuts. You guys are incredible. Like
that beat was incredible. Who made that beat?
That is her name is Melody, and she's an artist from DC. I actually met her I was doing stand-up at the Improv, and we went to some weird fucking like after party thing that Tony Woods took me to, like in the middle of the night or whatever, and she was there, and we just wound up hitting it off, and I found out that she mixed some music and did a bunch of other shit like that. And then during the pandemic, when I started this, I was like, hey, would you want to make a fucking intro music? And she was like, absolutely. And she knew immediately what to do.
That was hot.
Yeah, that was fucking great. She was a lot of.
You know what I was thinking too when the intro was running? I was like, well, like obviously, like I feel fully like aligned with your intro, but like, what if like all of a sudden the intro started showing like images that like were totally crazy, like super, and then you're like, and the podcast that you're like, what? Like, I just kept thinking of like the most offensive things I could think of that were like showing, and then they're like, and here they are, and you're like, huh? Feels like a good skit.
I swear to you, that's what, like, when I have like other guests on, when I have like older guests that are like, from the entertainment world or whatever, that are probably not too familiar with anything, when I have them on, I feel really bad because they're like, what? I just see their face like, what the fuck?
Like, what is that intro?
Did I sign up for? And I'm just like, oh, sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Really good.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so much fun. I kind of wish I had a camera for the backstage part just to see people's like, can I exit this real quick? Or, like, on the phone.
So good. It was so
good. Thanks, man. But how did you guys wind up meeting? How did you wind up hooking up? How the hell did you know that you'd be able to create this stuff like together? Because you got to admit, like, when you find somebody that you sync up with creatively, it's kind of like a miracle. You know what I mean? Like, and you guys seem to mesh really, really well together.
We got set up on a writing session, right?
Yeah, we did.
We're songwriters. Well, we do a lot of things, but we are the core of what we do as songwriters. We create from nothing. We're magicians. We're alchemists.
Right.
But me and Deep Cuts, who goes by the artist and stage name of MNBR, we got set up on a writing session together to write for. Did we have an artist we were writing for? Or it was just like a writing session?
No, but for maybe a year, I would say 1 out of every 4 sessions I would do, someone would go, "Have you ever worked with Evan Bogart?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't worked with Evan Bogart yet." And then they would be like, "You guys would really, really get along."
Yeah, I mean, if we hit it because we have so many shared interests, and and we get along really well, and we were like brother and sister from day one.
Oh my God. Day one, we wrote a song called "Okay." That's what I remember.
Well, did we really? That's amazing. But how's the song? It's okay.
Can you wait? You wrote a song called "Okay"? Is it out anywhere? Can you stream it, or you just wrote it for each other?
No, like we wrote it and like no one recorded it. No, it's like it's on our cutting room floor, or whatever. Whatever
I like to call my hard drive hits. That's what I call it.
Hard drive hits. Yeah, it's on our hard drive.
When stuff winds up on the cutting room floor, are you guys good at walking away from it, or is it in the back of your head, like constantly, like this is gold? Why won't anybody buy this?
I used to not be. I used to hang on to songs for a long time. Like they used to eat me alive from the inside. Like, why is everybody recording these? These are so good. And then like 3 years later, I'll go back and listen to it and be like, oh my God, that's fucking terrible.
I know. every time.
But I will say there's probably like a half dozen to 10 songs that I'm still like, I can't believe no one still cut this. And I send them to people and they're like, this is amazing. Why hasn't anyone cut this? And I'm like, right. And they're like, some of them are like 8 years old. Like, there's a few that I feel like I'm right on. They just have to find the right artist sometimes.
Sure.
But most of the time you always love the stuff you're writing in the moment, and given some space from it, you come back to it and you're like, wow, that's really terrible. I understand why no one recorded that. It's a really shitty idea.
Have you ever had to fight for something against like another artist and be like, no, trust me, this is going to work. And then it did and you got it through?
The fight is to me like when you go to the map for it, you kind of play yourself. I feel like you gotta be like smoking in the boys' room, cool kids on the playground style. Like, yeah, man. Right. Anytime I try to be like, you're wrong, dude. This is a nerd. It always just.
I have the opposite thing where I've gone to the mat to try to tell people that this song isn't that good. You shouldn't record it. and they're like, no, it's our single. And I'm like, hey, it's not going to do anything. And then it doesn't. And I'm like, I already knew. And then you're like, but I'm glad for, like, maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe it's going to be a massive hit. Maybe I'm completely wrong. So I'm cool with them doing it. But like in my heart, I knew that it was a flop.
I only have one song that there's an A&R at a major label, remain anonymous, that will just call me out of nowhere and just be like, that song is a hit. And I'll be like,
oh, it's my favorite thing.
All right, man. Talking to you.
No, my favorite thing that a record label says to songwriters. I want to write a book like things record labels say to songwriters. My favorite thing a record label says to songwriters, or one of my favorite things, is this song is a smash, and you're like, oh my God, and then like, I wish I had somebody who could cut it right now.
Yeah. And you're like, what
do you mean? It's a smash. You cut it on anyone. And they're like, I just don't have anybody for it. The song, it's a hit song. I just don't have the right artist for it.
Oh my God. That's infuriating. I was in a network meeting once, and the guy, we were like, they built me up, they loved the pilot that I wrote, whatever was going on. We went to like 2-3 meetings. We get down to like the last meeting where I think I'm finally going to get told like, hey, we're going to pick it up. And he just goes to me, it would be great. Honestly, the one thing this needs is if we had like a Will Smith backing it. And I literally went like, I got so deflated, but I went like, I said, did you honestly think if I had a Will Smith, I would be here right now?
It's amazing.
Like, yeah, right?
Let me call that dude.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem, man. Oh, I didn't know that was like the last like thing that needed in here.
Yeah, why'd you tell me that was the piece of the puzzle I was missing? I had no idea.
That's so great.
I had one song that was like, not to go down the sad sallies of songwriters, but one of my favorite sad tales of songwriters. One of my favorite moments was, you have this song, dun, 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 and it's like, Pink wants to cut it and Dua Lipa, but Dua Lipa isn't famous yet, and the person who was advising me was like, they blew. Who's a very successful manager. The quote was, they took it, Dua Lipa, to radio too quick and they blew it. And it's I would not, under any circumstances, give her a song.
Wow. Holy shit.
But
Yeah!
that for sure happened.
Batting 0.
That's
That's
wait. So
amazing.
let me go over. I want to just run through a list of people that you've written songs for, because John gave me this incredible list. So, Teenage Dream, Halo. Oh, these are the songs: Teenage Dream, Halo, I Don't Feel Like Dancing, Bang Bang Bang, Levitating, SOS, Dynamite, Dark Horse. I'm missing more, but you've written for Beyonce, Rihanna, Katy Perry, Mark Ronson, Dua Lipa, Lizzo. I mean, the list.
That encompasses our entire Lvcrft collective. So
Yeah,
it's obviously just more than Deep Cuts and myself. But yeah, I mean, a handful of those hits are ours specifically. But we've written, I mean, that's what we do. We're professional songwriters. Nice to meet you.
But this particular style, when you do the Lvcrft, obviously the Lvcrft stuff has its own kind of sound and vibe to it. What was it that drew you to that kind of thing in the beginning? Did you start out going, "This is exactly the kind of thing we want to lean gear towards"?
Yeah,
or
so I mean, like we're like you just said, like, you know, so we've been writing songs for forever, but equally as long, if not longer, because definitely longer, since I was the earliest memories, I've been obsessed with Halloween.
Yeah,
and everything's
the best holiday.
My mom, when I was a kid, she'd throw all the parties, the school parties would come, all the kids would come over, and we'd make like monsters out of like newspaper with balloons and stuff and masks, and we put dry ice in the pool, and like, you know, we do bobbing for apples, and all the kids would come over, and we do trick-or-treating from our house, and like, it was such a ritual, you know, and it was a month-long ritual. Kids would come over on the weekends and carve pumpkins with us, and like, so as I got older, it was something that I was just, it became a ritual for me. And part of that was the music. And I think that was one of the quickest points of connection of Deep Cuts and myself when we first started working together, was our mutual love for horror, spooky, Halloween, and the different parts of Halloween, which, you know, range from like horror and gore and really hardcore stuff to like really like fun, friendly, campy, you know, kids movies. I love it all. And then when one day it kind of hit us that we should be making the Halloween music. I mean, no, like seriously, like it was kind of like, we've been listening to the same music for Halloween, if you think about it, for at least 40 years, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ghostbusters,
crazy.
You know, Somebody's Watching Me.
Yes.
Right? Like anything like Oingo Boingo, Warren Zevon, or like Ramones, like all the songs that get repurposed for Halloween, Michael Jackson. And then if you go all the way back to like the iconic, you know, Monster Mash is like 70 years old.
Right.
And I think like every year people just they're refreshing the same songs over and over and over and over and over again. And we felt as hit songwriters in our own, we felt like it was our duty to soundtrack the next generation of Halloween lovers.
Nice.
And we just felt like it was our calling. So that's what we did.
It's also like Evan and I would like, once July hit, there's LA kind of starts to like spooky goes early here, and it's going earlier and earlier. And Evan and I would be like 1960s Beatles girl when they'd like announce all the haunts and stuff. We'd be like, like gotta get like tickets and like bugging out, like going to the
Child's Play.
like I'll get mad when Evan will text me before I'll get to him about, oh my god, we gotta do it. Like tickets, we gotta get on the list in the VIP for this. Like
oh my god.
We're like, if we're this psycho,
what was so crazy about it?
Music for it.
What was so crazy about it is we went to our like support teams, and we were like, we're gonna do music for Halloween, and they were like, what?
They're like, that's not a thing.
Like Christmas. Like people do music for Christmas. We're gonna do it for Halloween. And then we made an album in 2019 called This Is Halloween Volume 1, which we called because we thought, you know, kind of in like a compilation form, we were trying to figure out like, what is the sound of Halloween? And what the answer was everything. There's so many different sounds of Halloween music. Yeah. You know, like new wave to, you know, up tempo, dark pop to, you know, throwback soul to dubstep to
Yeah.
hard rock to, I mean, score. I mean, I mean, you could just go, you know, rap, everything, right? So like every genre embodies something about Halloween that we loved and we grew up on. So we tried to make an album that paid homage to all the different sounds of Halloween, and so we called it "This Is Halloween," which is
I love that.
As like, what is Halloween? This is Halloween.
Right.
But,
and you fucking nailed it with that album, though.
Thanks. And then people like loved it, which was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like people started calling us to like license it and put in like TV shows and like
Right.
Spotify.
And then our team said their words.
Yeah, people were. It's crazy. Like it like took off, and everybody was like, "Wow, people are really hungry for Halloween music."
What's your biggest draw like of inspiration when you're creating Halloween music? Is there one thing you look for? Do you rewatch a bunch of your old favorite movies? Like what kind of things are you drawing from?
Candy corn, probably.
You just eat enough of it until you get high off of candy corn somehow.
Yeah.
Low key, high key, like I watch something horror or horror adjacent every night, all year round. It's like
Deep Cuts is like a horror
nerd.
Like, yeah, but like D, C, and D level. Like she's an encyclopedic knowledge of the deepest cuts of horror movies, where the name came from, of horror movies that you could ever think of. She has seen horror movies that you didn't even know were made. In fact, I think the directors probably forgot they made it. But the Deep Cuts knows about it, and she has it all stored on hard drives. It's very great.
God, that's fucking awesome. I need to get like my friends and I specifically seek. I love horror. I have a couple friends, some who don't go near it, but we will also drag them into like no, you got to fucking watch this. It's super old. It's kind of whatever, just to like not freak them out. But we love any kind of horror movies, especially like the really like bad ones. Just the ones that like everybody else thinks are unwatchable. We will fucking seek that shit out, make sure everybody watches it. And I get bummed out like around spooky season if not enough like shit comes out on Netflix or not enough like streaming stuff comes out where I can watch like some genuine like horror shit, because I'll watch it all year round, and it's like one of my favorite genres ever to like deep dive into. But there's like
I get stressed out during spooky season because of all of the stuff that comes out. I'm like, when am I gonna have time to watch all of this? This is so much stuff to watch.
Same. We text about it. Like Evan and I are like with our partner Norman Crates are connected talking about Halloween all day, especially during high spooky season. And then as if there's downtime ever, Evan and I are like dorking out about dude, did you watch this on like the Shudder original, blah 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 blah? And it's like, no, it's on my list. Like
so fucking good.
It's a true passion.
Do you guys do any of that? My friends and I used to do weird, because I'm in New Jersey, so we used to do the weird New Jersey stuff when we were younger, and like try to scare the shit out of each other, and like go to these crazy like haunted whatever. But we went to one called Lambertville High School. Have you ever heard about that one?
No, we want to do East Coast haunts really bad.
Oh my god, yeah, I'll send you a fucking list, man, of places I've been and places I haven't gotten to go yet. There's so much crazy shit out over here. It's nuts.
Oh man, we definitely want to do an East Coast run.
Yeah, you got to do it. I could get you. Still have like all their magazines and all these books, stuff like that. Lambertville wasn't even in one of them. Lambertville was a high school that burned down in the 30s with the kids inside it. And then fucking in like 1980 something on the same exact day, burned down again. And then they just was like, they condemned it. They never opened it back up again. But like all this crazy shit, like it was up on a hill. So you would have to like drive to like the border of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and then like you would take this weird fucking right turn, and you would just drive straight up this hill all the way up to this abandoned high school. And like it was fucking crazy. But we wound up getting chased like the Scooby-Doo kids by a dude in a truck when we were trying to leave. And I have it all on video. Every piece of footage.
I went to this place called the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston, West Virginia. And it's literally
for like 12 what? I don't know about this.
I was on tour. I was on tour with Z, and we were coming over from Canada, and the customs agent was like, "Where are you guys going?" And we're like, "Well, we have to stop in."
Is this the video? Will you do the video?
No. This is totally different.
How
The
do I not know
customs agent was
Weird.
like, "Where are you guys going?" Well, we're heading to wherever, Detroit or wherever we're heading. I don't forget where we're heading, but we're heading there. And they're like, "But we have a day off. We have to stop in West Virginia." And he goes, "Oh, Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum." And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's where the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum is." And we're like, "What is that?" He's like,
Allegheny.
it's an abandoned lunatic asylum.
What
It's
is it?
massive, and it's the only thing in that town. And we're
Holy
like,
shit.
"Oh, weird." So we're like, whatever. So we pull up to the motel. We had this motel on tour, this band I'm with, and there's a cemetery next to the motel, right? Which is kind of crazy anyway, right? So it's a motel and cemetery, and across the highway is like this mall that has like 4 restaurants, and the 4 restaurants are like called Chinese, steaks, pizza and pasta, and buffet. Those are the 4 restaurants. That's the name of the restaurants. So we all decide we're going to eat at pizza and pasta because that's the safest bet. Worst pizza ever and pasta ever. And then afterwards, we're like, well, what are we going to do? We can hang out in the motel by the cemetery. And we're like, no, let's go find the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. So we all piled into the Sprinter van and went looking for the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. And we found it down this really long road of like trees on either side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like totally out of a movie. We pull up into this dirt driveway and it's massive. I mean, like Buckingham Palace, like the most biggest thing you've ever seen ever. And we're walking around outside, right, on the outside area. You can't really get in. Someone did a door wouldn't open, and all of a sudden you see like flashlights inside, and like we listened and we hear people talking there. We thought either there's like some sort of like stay over tour that you can do, or like maybe it was like a haunt, like one of those haunt TV shows or something that was like, you know, like Ghost Adventures or something like that.
Right.
There's a new
and we're like, all right, let's get out of here. So we go back, get in the Sprinter, and it won't start. The Sprinter's like,
with ZZ freaking
I'm like,
Holy shit.
this is literally a horror movie. We're literally in a horror movie right now. It won't start. I'm like, come on, man, start it. She had this like big tour manager named Paul, who was like Paul Bunyan. And I was like, Paul, start the Sprinter. He's like, trying, man, I'm trying.
And it's like wigging out.
Finally, it was like, and we like scared out of there. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
My name's Little Pumpkin, and I weirdly haven't shared the story with Deep Cuts.
I just thought about it when he was telling the story about the school. It reminded me of the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Oh, that's fucking. I love the name, man. That is a great name.
It's crazy, right? Well, I actually went to an abandoned hospital here in East LA, where that's what Deep Cuts was talking about, where we shot a music video. It was during October. It was where it had been like a set where they had been shooting
crazy.
A lot of TV shows like Walking Dead and things like that.
Nice.
Yeah, and
pull that pic.
Yeah, I will. No. And they shoot things there, right? Not people, but like videos and stuff. And although it used to be a hospital for gang violence, so they probably did shoot people. That wasn't the point of the story. Anyway, we do this whole music video there, and a few days later, right? Mm-hmm. And by the way, every ghost, if you go online, you're like Linda Vista, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, they've all done episodes there. So it's like famous for being haunted, right? It's a famous place for being haunted. Mm-hmm. So there's a picture that comes. I don't know if you can see it, but I bet you have a background. Hold on, let me take it off.
Okay.
There's a picture that so we're looking at the B-roll of the stuff, right? Mm-hmm. This picture comes up, right? And we're looking at the B-roll, and I'm like, what is those lights behind that? I'm like, where was that? Oh, that was the chapel on the 3rd floor in front of a forest. There's nothing behind it. Well, where are the lights coming from? There's lights in the back of the picture. And as we zoomed in on the picture, right?
Yeah.
We notice
this shakalaka. That
holy fucking shit.
Floating three stories in the air on the 3rd floor, outside of the window. Look, you can see the
holy shit, dude.
You see the curves of the chin and everything. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my god, that is fucking nuts.
I promise you, behind that window is just miles of forest. There's nothing back there. There's no structure. There's no one back there. Nothing. There's nothing that could be except for what that is.
That picture is so freaky.
Oh my dude, I fucking love shit like that, man. That is incredible. You guys have to come out this way, and we have to do so. I'm including myself because I'll drive the van. Whatever you guys need me to do. But we got to do some spooky shit. I want to stay in Lizzie. What do you say?
Do you want to babysit 2 toddlers while we go do that?
That's a little bit above my fright level. I'm not prepared or ready to be that kind of an adult yet.
That's so good. That is the scariest thing I've done so far.
Yeah, you've tapped into a very, very frightening. Yeah, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But that is I always wanted to stay in Lizzie Borden's house, but no, not one of my friends will do it.
Have you guys seen that new show on is it Netflix? The one with the haunters? It's like a competition show.
Yeah, the 28 days. No, I'm gonna start it tonight. Norman Kraitz was like not down to watch it, but we watched Terrifier last night, which is Sprechen Sie awesome.
Two?
No, because I've never watched one. Okay, here's a weird.
It's so good.
I never watch one because sometimes I'm snobby about my C- horror movies. I'm like weirdly snobby about them. Like I was like, sometimes I don't like the new C- horror style because it looks too like, it's always like I'm on my phone and like it's a POV of my phone, and I thought it was gonna be a POV phone style one, and I was like, I'd rather just watch like Maniac or just some like weird whatever, April Fool's Day, just some like dumb stuff or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
So, but, like, and I watched it, and I like a small tier of like gorish like satisfaction came down my dark soul.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I did see that Terrifier 2 has made like $1 million more than they spent or something, right?
Yeah. Terrifier is such well done exploitation piece of art I've ever seen that's modern. It is on par with what I imagine Quentin Tarantino would do if he did exploitation horror on a very limited budget.
Absolutely.
Very well done. It was
do you prefer a limited budget when it comes to horror?
Well, that's what I kind of like love about the schlocky horror is that it's like a bunch of dogs. Like think about Sam Raimi and Evil Dead and what they did with that.
Oh yeah.
And then the music's always awesome because it's like one of their weird noise friends is like, I'll do it. I'm into metal and whatever. You know what I mean? And then, so everything about it just like amplifies to awesome level because no one's in it for the money. They're all in it because they're weird.
Yes.
Equals success. Entertainment industry.
The cover down there, the unmasked cover.
The what is? Oh yeah. The unmasked.
Weird one.
That is fucking sick.
Isn't that Bruce?
Yeah, that's Bruce Campbell.
That's Bruce.
Sick.
It's fucking awesome, dude.
Talk about Evil Dead.
Yeah, I know. It's like that was always one of my favorites too. Do you guys? I have like this is probably gonna be the most controversial question I ask you, and you can say you don't want to answer it, but basically Hocus Pocus 2, pure horseshit, right? No, I'm just kidding. That is like no. Did you guys?
Just signs off right now.
I'm kidding. That's not. What did you say?
Pumpkin signs off. But
I know.
Look.
I haven't seen it yet, actually.
Okay, so to be real, like, I'm a huge Hocus Pocus fan.
Me too.
Right, and us having, so we have a song in Hocus Pocus 2. Do you know that?
Right. No, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Okay. So the placement of our song in the movie is incredible.
Like,
we should send cases of champagne to the music supervisor and the director, right? Because literally 13 minutes into the movie, when they go from like flashback Salem to like present day Salem, it's like our song for like a minute plus, right?
So I got to see
the highest spooky honors.
So John told me ahead of time, but I got to see that, and that's what I want to tell you. That's the only thing that makes me want to watch the full movie was seeing that clip with your song in it, because I was really like I didn't want it to ruin my I didn't know that, like at first I didn't know your song was in it, and then I talked to John obviously. But like at first I was like, I can't do it because if this ruins, I'm such a huge fan of the first one. If this ruins,
I'll give you my honest review as somebody who's a Hocus Pocus fanatic.
Right.
I thought there were definitely moments I really liked in it.
Okay.
Right. I thought what I missed in 2 that I loved in 1 was the kind of innocent, dumb love story of like the teenagers. There's no love story in 2. And I think if they did the love story again, I think they'd probably get criticism the other way. Like, oh, you guys already did this story. So in Hocus Pocus 2, the story is friendship.
Oh, okay.
It's like the bond of sisterhood, right?
Right.
So it's like 3 friends, and there's like, one's not friends with the 2 anymore. And like, they're trying to, they're like, it's high school. So like they've clicked. One has a boyfriend and doesn't talk to her old friends anymore, and the old friends are kind of into like witchcraft and Wiccan and like that kind of stuff like that, right? And so, and then it all becomes down to like, I don't want to ruin the movie, but there's like a whole thing about the sisters later, and the preface is in Old Salem about the sisters and the bond they had when they were basically sent, sent away from Salem and had to go live in the forest, right? When they were little kids, and they became witches, right? And so I like the backstory of how they became witches and how they became their coven, and there are moments that I really like in there, but the sisterhood story didn't pull the same way as the virgin who's looking out for his little sister who lights the black flame candle and like has a crush on the cool girl and he's like out of town. Like that storyline in one is just better.
But
you couldn't have copied it. If you repeated it, they'd be like, oh, they just phoned it in. They just copied the same movie.
Oh, totally. 100%. And that makes me feel like I want to see it even more though. Because that was one of those things, like I was just like totally resistant to it. My friends had kind of seen it and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I got to see the minute that you guys had that song in there and I was like, It's like
it's worth watching it. It's worth watching it, but going into it knowing like pick a movie that was ever as good as the original. Godfather 2 aside.
Right.
That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, Terminator 2. T2.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Godfather 2 and Terminator 2. It's hard. It's hard to find them.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a movie I'll watch Ghostbusters 2, but come on, it's not Ghostbusters.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Right? Like I'll still watch it. Like I've grown to love Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
Now, not Afterlife, not the other ones, but maybe I'll grow to love those eventually. But Ghostbusters 2, I've grown to love. The problem with the problem with the new one that just came out, where where it's the grandkids in the desert and stuff like that. Is,
I fell asleep.
It's not funny.
It's not at all.
That's the problem, right? So like Hocus Pocus 2 isn't Hocus Pocus 1 because there's no love story, right?
Right.
Ghostbusters Afterlife isn't Ghostbusters 1 or 2 because it's not a comedy.
Right.
The first two were fucking hysterical. Even if 2 wasn't as funny as 1, it was still funny.
Yeah.
And it's not,
yeah. How do you have Paul Rudd and you don't utilize him? Yeah.
Yeah, it feels same.
Yeah. Paul Rudd was in. I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. Fucking Paul Rudd. And then you don't use him for what he's the most Paul Rudd about.
The only scene that's funny, which is in the grocery store, is in the trailer.
Yes, absolutely. I know, yeah. And then they blew it in the trailer. That was hilarious, though. Yeah, that's a great fucking scene.
What they did was they were like, oh, we're gonna do Stranger Things.
Yeah. With the cast of Stranger Things.
With the cast of Stranger Things.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your growing up? What was your like Halloween like go-tos when you were kids? Like what did you grow up on?
Like as far as movies?
Yeah, movies, TV shows. Because I used to have a VHS. This is how much I love. I used to have a VHS because one year I sat in front of my VCR, popped a blank tape in, and when they were doing like marathon Halloween shit, I just found it in like the TV guide and recorded like every cartoon special, all the movies I could find or whatever, like on one VHS tape.
Yeah, Halloween cartoon specials. I mean,
man, I lived like in the middle. I mean, I'm from North Dakota, so it was like we would. I love it. Everyone's like, all right.
You know when you're watching, when during the winter you're watching the news and they're like, and today the lowest temperature in United States is -48 degrees in blah 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 North Dakota.
Yeah. Pumpkin always sends me a screenshot and he's like, I'm like, yep.
You did it again. Lowest temperature.
We would travel to like we would rent, dating myself, proud of it. We would drive to a gas station where you could rent VHS tapes.
Oh, nice.
And we would go there and it would no shit be like 45 below. Probably not in October, but definitely below freezing. And I would totally, because it was direct to VHS level, like whatever came in direct to VHS that had a Halloween cover. I had boomer parents.
But so many things. I mean, VHS was what it was, right? Like I remember when I was a kid, the first 4 movies I watched were like all on VHS, but were like, I loved Omen
Oh yeah.
Omen. The
Poltergeist,
weirder the cover, the better. for me.
Omen, all of the Omens, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Omens are great.
Even as they got progressively terrible, and he got
they
older,
really
I still love them.
Mhm.
Poltergeist 1 and 2.
Mhm.
Do you go for 3 though?
Nightmare
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street,
Pumpkinhead.
and what?
Pumpkinhead. Did you
I
watch
didn't watch
any of those?
Pumpkinhead as a kid. I didn't watch Pumpkinhead.
Oh.
Child's Play, the original.
That
Child's
scared the fuck
Play.
out of me.
2000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like Children of the Corn, all those dogs.
But as I got a little bit older, there was like I was always so excited to see what Simpsons Treehouse of Terror was going to be.
Me too. I'm rewatching currently going, like I started in the beginning of the month. I'm watching them all. I'm just going to go through them all.
When it would come on TV, I'd be like, yeah, I know when I know when I'm watching it. Like I was so excited to see what was good, what they were going to do. And I would always hope, I hope they have the alien.
Yes.
I was always hoping Foolish Earthlings were going to be.
Yeah. Kang and Kodos just watching. Yeah. And they do those like really long laughs for no reason where you're like, are they cutting a commercial now or what's going on?
Treehouse of Terror was always something I looked forward to every year.
Yeah, and the subtle humor in that fucking too. When the guy with the giant donut comes to life and knocks on Homer's door and he's asking for his donut, he goes, he came to life. Good for him. And then
it's so good. They're so funny.
They're fucking genius,
really,
man.
Really good. Yeah, they're all on Disney Plus now. You can watch all of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what my friend and I are watching on Disney Plus. Hellraiser was something I saw when I was young, and it scared the shit out of me too. And I guess Eraserhead wasn't a horror movie, but like Eraserhead was one of those weird movies I saw when I was young, and I was like, I don't understand, but I like it.
You're just kind of troubled by it. Like, I'm troubled.
Yes.
You know what was a weird one that I was kind of into was like Flatliners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also there was one, I don't remember the name of it, but like this kid, and I used to have nightmares from it. This kid, the entire town becomes aliens.
Yes.
Do you remember which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course. What are all the kids are with white hair? Like
aliens, and then at the end, he like wakes up and he thinks it's a dream, and then he goes into his parents' bedroom, and he's like, and you hear him go no, and then you hear this deep voice go yes. At the end of the movie, I forget the name of it, but I was obsessed with it. Also, Night of the Comet.
Oh yeah.
That's not really a horror movie.
I haven't seen that. Yeah.
So,
and They Live.
Oh
They
yeah.
Live.
Oh, They Live is so good too. Let me ask your opinion on this because my friends and I go back and forth on it. I think Mothman is a creepy ass fucking movie. When I first saw that, it was like because it's not really like it's not gory, it's not horror, but that whole scene when he's in the hotel room and he's like on the phone with him or whatever, and he's got that creepy voice and he's telling him where all the shit that fucked me up when I was like I to this day I love that movie.
Dude, speaking of hotel horror, I just rewatched 1408.
Oh, I love that movie.
So good.
Always, even Norman Crates was like, this movie's like really scary. I was like, this movie always scares me.
Yeah.
Every time. I was like, I actually get scared by this.
Yep.
Like we're Terrifier. I'm like, oh, like kind of like, woo, like but that I'm like,
I'll tell you about a campy horror movie that I watched recently that I actually really, really liked. And I really liked it because it's so of the moment. Like, I don't know, like 20 years from now, people will get the humor because it's written by somebody who obviously understands how kids talk these days.
Right.
Bodies.
Oh,
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one yet.
You have to watch it.
Okay.
I will.
Okay.
Don't get turned off that Pete Davidson's in it.
I know. That's been the
No. He's actually super amazing in it.
Oh, really? All right.
Because he kind of spoofs himself. You have to. It's really good.
Right,
Bodies is actually really clever.
All right. Yeah, maybe I'll watch that one tonight then. Because
I just watched one recently that was actually pretty great. It's this it's kind of like a high school one. There's this like Fear Fest or something like that. There's this
Is it called Fear Fest?
I think it might be called Fear.
it's like Fear Festival.
I don't know. It's like basically, yeah. Basically, I'm like, it was a thing. This like, this kid wants to go to like the biggest Halloween horror scare fest, whatever the fuck it is, and his dad's like, absolutely not, because his mother was murdered by a guy dressed in a Halloween mask.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? And then like, so they go to this whole thing or whatever.
Yeah,
he sneaks out and goes, and then people at the festival wind up murdering people.
Yeah, dude, it's the one where we were like, remember when we had the
we had
Yeah,
that idea. Every year we go to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh.
And every year there's mazes, and most of the mazes are properties of Universal, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Child's Play or like old, like, Frankenstein, Dracula, or Halloween, or all the different. This year they did a bunch of stuff with Jordan Peele. They always do Jordan Peele, so they've done like Us. They did Nope this year.
Right.
This year they did The Weekend. It's usually Universal.
Nope is great.
And we were like, man, like why doesn't Universal do a movie called Horror Nights? That's basically their event, but somebody gets killed. Like it's like a murder in an actual, haunt.
Yeah. And then that's what
that movie came out.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be great. Have you guys thought about writing your own?
Yeah. Like every day of our lives. We talk
guys.
about it.
You got to do it.
I have like 3 like sketched up and ready to go.
The new album that we put out this year is basically we're calling it soundtrack to a movie that we haven't made yet. So
that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's Scream Warriors.
Warriors,
with Christopher Young, who did the score for Hellraiser, which you mentioned. Yeah,
Hellraiser. That's what it's there. Are you guys gonna watch the new one?
I did.
It was. How was it? Good? Bad?
I don't know. Hellraiser just has to be in the 80s for some reason.
I agree.
Early 90s. It's just the way it looked, and it's just like
I
think
Panic.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I was bored. It was whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't scared. It just the reason Hellraiser ripped RIP'd, pun intended, was because it was the 80s and there was Satanic Panic. I mean, I remember Satanic Panic. Like, I remember going to like, we had to go to church when I was a kid, and like, it'd be like youth groups. They're talking about metal music. Look out for heavy metal, or whatever. Like say, if you play it backwards, you'll rip your face off or whatever. And then it's just like Judas Priest, like breaking the law. When you listen to music now, you're just like, it's so light. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not very heavy, in terms of anything about it. But
oh shit.
But it yeah, I think that's why Hellraiser now sucks. Like,
yeah.
So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I know. It's like
I just was like, I don't know. It was whatever.
But
whatever.
You know what? Props that they used Christopher Young's score in it.
Oh yeah,
out of his score, which was cool. They like that was cool. That was fucking awesome, to be honest.
I really have enjoyed Midnight Club from the guy who did Haunting of Bly Manor and all that stuff. And I really like Barbarian.
Barbarian.
There was a couple moments in it that I'm questioning, but I'd say like I loved 89% of Barbarian.
I'm giving Barbarian a full 99% skull rating.
Wow. But what about the one thing we talked about?
What was the end? But I don't care. Like, that's what I like about horror. I like it when it doesn't make sense.
I don't care. What about the ending? I don't care. There's so many movies. There's so many movies that die at the end for me.
Yeah,
because that's what I like about horror is I feel like when they're editing it, they're like, it almost makes sense. That's good enough.
Yeah,
that was good enough, right?
Yeah.
By the way, they could have edited that. That could have been an easy fix. That one, like for Hereditary, which by the way, anytime anybody bills a movie as the scariest movie ever, it's never the scariest movie ever. But like Hereditary, I was like, oh, this is great, and then at the end, I was like, what? Like. They're devil worshippers, and then we always joke. Me and Norman Crates always joke that like they're actually not devil worshippers. They're payman worshippers, who's like the 17th ranked demon on like the. I'm like, how did you even decide like that guy was important enough to worship? Like that was like it was such a weird like I don't know like to me.
Oh my god. There's one movie that I saw on Netflix, and I can never remember the title of it. It's super long. I think it might be a German film or whatever it is. But this dude like is in World War I or whatever, and he makes a deal with the devil. He's about to be executed, and so he makes a pact with the devil. The devil's like, yeah, whatever, and then the devil kills the dudes that are about to execute him. So he doesn't realize what he sacrifices, and he goes back to see his wife. That's all he wants to do. And his wife's been fucking some other guy and has, their kids there, whatever. So he murders the other dude and he accidentally kills his wife by like starting a fire. Right. So that's how this whole thing starts off. And then the rest of the thing is there's this girl who's an orphan, obviously his daughter, what I'm talking about. And then like and this guy lives off in like a castle somewhere by himself. And he's like the creepy guy in the neighborhood that nobody, like the old man, but he keeps a devil, the demon that was supposed to murder him and take his soul back to hell. He figured out how to capture him and he locks him up in a cage. And
what?
so yeah, man, it is the,
is it good?
Story?
So good. What is it?
Is this a true story?
No. Oh, no. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. What?
Realistically, ask that.
I love that I answered honestly. No,
That's
not that I know of.
True story.
Yeah.
You didn't know about that.
Let's talk about a really great horror film, though. Let's
Which
talk
one?
about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Oh.
Ooh, P2. P2 really did it for me. I watch it at least twice a year.
Is that
At
your
least.
go-to?
Well, yeah, because I always like there is this part.
Also Christopher Young.
Yeah, also Christopher Young, and it's the greatest thing about that movie is that it, again 80s, and like it definitely was an era where some people were out. People weren't just like out like they are now, and that director was in the closet and just made an extremely homoerotic film.
Yeah.
And kind of like everything about it. But in the 80s, like it was just like, I don't like what's going on. Like you would have like a crush on Boy George. Like the concept of Boy George being gay was like, what are you talking about? I'm in love with him.
Right.
Get married as a man and a woman who identify as that and have babies. Have tiny Boy Georges. And so that movie, it just the lore around it. It's just like
Tiny Boy Georges.
Also, is just the whole amazingness around that movie itself just brings me nothing but joy constantly.
Yeah, it's a solid. That's like top 10. Absolutely.
And I mean, when you get into a genre, you can really get into how it was made, who made it. Oh, Wes Craven sold the IP, so then some other dude made it and totally took a shit on it, but actually made a cult classic that is like beloved by the gay community. Like, and I've seen it in the Castro in San Francisco many times. It's amazing. It's as much fun as going to see Rocky Horror Picture Shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like I toss and turn about whether or not they should make a sequel to The Thing. I want them to, but I don't know if I want them to because I love the movie,
right?
And I just want to see The Thing. You know what I mean? I should just watch the fucking movie again because why would I want them? But I don't know. Maybe the sequel would be good.
What if it's like Alien and Alien? By the way, another one where I like the second one as much as the first one. Alien.
Yeah, Alien's new.
But
right.
what if the sequel is just Things?
Oh,
Evan, write that down now.
Yeah. It's called Things.
But wait, didn't they do a remake of?
They did.
I couldn't watch it because I'm such a fan of Carpenter's thing.
Oh yeah,
like I don't think it can do CG because it has some of the greatest practical effects ever done in cinema history, and I'm like, I don't think I can watch CGI.
I know what you mean.
I can't believe we haven't talked about this because we were planning on going to see it, but we didn't have a chance to. But I watched it at home. Did you watch Halloween Ends?
Oh yeah, of course I did. Yeah.
What did you think of the end?
You just kind of meh. I loved everything but that kind of.
Yeah.
Pumpkin. Look.
Honestly, so at first I was like, no, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, how else can you end it?
Yeah.
Like I kept thinking about how else could they have ended it? And I really honestly couldn't think of any way better.
But did they say it's not really the end?
No, there's zero way that's not the end.
That's what I thought too, but I swear to God, Jamie Lee Curtis was like, you never know.
No, stop. Like, there's no way that they were like, because I thought to myself, they're like, how can they end this and really convince people this is actually the end? There's no way he can't just disappear. He can't fall into the water. There's no way he can do anything you would have to end it in a way, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but you
Right.
have to end it in a way that was so definitively the end. There's no way he comes back from that. And
Yeah.
that's the only way you could end it. I couldn't think of any other way. I mean, there's other ways like that, but
Yeah.
other than that, it had to be so definitive.
I agree.
But it was a little anticlimactic for someone as like big and powerful and him, that he's like living as like a hermit, in a pipe, like out where homeless people. I don't know. It was like, why was he in there?
Right.
What was he doing in there for 4 years?
Right. Right. No, exactly.
I'm so confused why he was living like a mole man for 4 years.
Yeah, you do have to forget
Yeah,
literally
that was
the
weird.
ending to every other one of those films to kind of make the ending of this one acceptable. We were like, hasn't he survived? Like, what the fuck is going on?
No, but he never survived that. Like that.
Right.
That's like saying like I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it.
I know what you mean.
I just, the middle of it was also weird to me that he was like living in like a tunnel
Oh yeah.
for 4 years.
Yeah,
Right.
but the music was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and also, was it Danny McBride or Jody Hill as producers or writers on it? It was something I was like, what?
Danny
Danny
McBride?
McBride?
Yeah,
Was he?
it
Wow.
was. Yeah, like one of those dudes from Eastbound and Down were involved with it, and I was
Holy
like,
shit.
yeah, I was like, they did not take a shit on this movie at
I
all.
mean, it's not a horror movie, but
Right.
No, but why are those guys
it's
in it?
another
But they
movie.
make-
Speaking of Danny McBride, This Is the End is really good.
Oh, it's so good. I love This Is the End.
Yeah,
That's a
This Is the
fucking
End.
great movie.
It's-
Did you guys
Really?
like The Cabin?
They must have. Oh, I love The Cabin.
Me too.
Yeah.
Wait, the cabin? Yeah,
Cabin in the Woods. Sorry, Cabin in the Woods.
I like you're talking about cabin.
Cabin in the Woods. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite horror movies. When I tour, there's 2 horror movies I watch when I feel homesick. I'm not
If you
joking.
like Cabin in the Woods, you'll like Bodies. That's my.
Okay.
I love Cabin in the Woods and Jennifer's Body. Whenever I
Ooh.
feel like sad and lonely on tour,
Yeah.
I would watch either one of those.
I went to see. I'm not kidding. I went to see a band recently that I got invited to go see in New York, and it was like a week ago, and I was like, "Is this the goddamn fucking band from Jennifer's Body?" I was like, "Is somebody gonna get dragged back to a like?"
It's a real band, dude.
It was. Oh, were they really?
Yeah, some of those dudes were in real bands. Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I tried to interview some of them. It's hard, but
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
It was just the weirdest thing because like just the way it was made up and like the vibe that we were in this little bar or whatever, like I swear to God, it brought me right back to that movie where I was like, something's really fucking off, and it's October. I don't like what's going on. I was like, what is happening?
You know
That's
what
crazy. I didn't know that.
is also an underrated kind of humorous but still scary.
What?
I'm just waving at my daughter. Hi. Final Girls.
I've never seen that. Oh, wait a minute. No, never seen that.
I would give that a fucking people always like, oh yeah, that movie. And I'm always like, what are you talking about? That movie is fucking awesome. It's got the dude from
I don't think I've seen Final Girls either.
from Silicon Valley. I know, I've sent it to you.
Oh, TJ Miller?
Not TJ Miller, the
Male?
the lead dude,
Oh,
the nerd.
Yeah.
Nerd guy.
Yeah. Nerd.
And-
That's guy. Nerd guy 1.
And then another comedian.
Why was TJ Miller and what's his name like enemies for like a week?
Who? Oh, Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. They were like enemies, and then like a week later, they're friends now.
It
Yeah,
was
I was worried about that.
when that shit happens. But yeah,
I
basically.
actually was worried about it because I was like, I kind of don't want to see Deadpool without TJ Miller's character.
Yeah, same. I know. TJ Miller character was fucking great in Deadpool.
Yeah.
No, I think I don't know. There was like probably some dumb misunderstanding. TJ's great, but I'm sure he misconstrued that situation. Like there's like as he was telling the story, I was like, oh, this is gonna backfire.
But also, I wondered what happened to Bachman on Silicon Valley too. Like he must have beeped out with everybody out there too, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, he had a controversy.
Yeah. Just a small one. Small one.
Wow.
He's doing good though now. He's fine.
Oh, I didn't know. I always guess I was out of the loop on that one.
Yeah, I'm like, he had a huge controversy.
I had no idea.
Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't? Yeah, he got like,
back to Silicon Valley, and I'm like, are they ever bringing Bachman back? No, he's just gone. That's cool.
yeah, because he got like canceled.
Oh, I didn't know he got canceled. I was
But
I was on vacation that week.
Yeah.
From the internet.
Yeah.
That's all you need. weeks worth of vacation from the internet, and then you're like, oh, did I miss a cancellation? Well, they're back. So
yeah, I missed that week's cancellation.
Yeah, they're not digging anybody else's grave up. That would be a great horror movie if you did something with like the dead that were the only way to stop them was to cancel them, like a John Wayne corpse.
Oh, we have a great song for that.
Do you really?
Deep Cuts. Yeah, we actually wrote a song called "Canceled." Me and Deep Cuts.
Oh, that's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that would actually be the song for it.
We should work on it. I always wanted to do a reality show about a reality show. So you know those, like you were talking before about ghost hunters?
Yeah.
I wanted to do a show where like our team would try to find out where Ghost Hunters was filming and then go and scare the shit out of the guys trying to do a ghost hunting show.
But would you get like beat up?
Probably.
It's actually kind of funny though. Pranking ghost hunters is like,
yeah.
I feel like that's an episode of Impractical Jokers.
Oh, that'd be good. Are they still? No, they're gone. We could do it. We could totally take it. They're
gone.
gone.
Are they done?
Yeah, I think they're done. There's a hole that needs to be filled, and I think we should fill it with ghosts.
Dude, that show is so funny sometimes though.
You know what I really like? I loved the old. They can never do it again. But the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo.
I just love 13 Ghosts. Period.
Oh, 13 Ghosts is great too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great fucking movie.
Dude,
Matthew Lillard.
Dude, 13 the whole concept of 13 Ghosts is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
I love that Deep Cuts is like just turned into a skeleton.
Yeah, she's gone. I don't know when she's there. She's back.
Oh, hey! Norman Crates.
Holy shit.
Norman, this is John. John, this is Norman Crates.
What's going on, man? How are you? Oh, I think he's muted.
You're muted, Norman.
You're muted. You got to hit the little button. There he is.
Hit that little button. I know
Norman's the third head of the three-headed monster of the
What is going on, man?
core of Lvcrft.
Oh, you know, just hanging out. Figured out.
Yeah.
Tag in.
Oh, that's great. I love that you got a hood on too. That's perfect.
You know, I'm wearing exactly the same thing. Oh, I guess you can't see it. Oh well. Oops.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I need to buy Lvcrft paraphernalia.
Oh yeah.
Now
we can make it happen for you.
So we were just talking about all the good spooky shit.
We were talking about 13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts.
Oh.
Love that movie. You didn't see 13 Ghosts?
No.
You've never seen 13 Ghosts?
No, I can think there's a bunch of movies I haven't seen.
Stop. Has Deep Cuts has seen 13 Ghosts?
Yeah. I don't know. How recent is it? I can't.
Oh,
2000 and
20 years?
Yeah, 20 years. I was still in high school.
We might have seen it together, and I just can't remember.
Mid 2000s, probably.
Tony Shalhoub is in it. Matthew Lillard. Oh man, it's got a bunch of really great scenes. It's almost like if you've seen Cabin in the Woods, you know when they have that thing where they like shift through the boxes and there's all those horror. It's kind of like they've got a scene like that in 13 Ghosts, right? Where they're like, basically
the concept is this guy inherits this house from his like weird uncle who like died and was obsessed with like the paranormal, and it's like the weirdest house the way it's constructed. It's all glass or whatever like that. And then when they get in the house, there's these glasses, and when you wear the glasses, you turn into Roddy Piper and you can see aliens. No, when you wear the glasses, you can see ghosts, and there are 12 ghosts. I think I don't want to ruin the story. There's a certain amount of ghosts that are trapped in these glass rooms that have like writings on the wall that keep them trapped in there, and you can see them with the glasses. But he's a ghost hunter. He's a ghost capturer. There's like a rival ghost capturer who wants to take the house. It's crazy. It's amazing.
It's really coming back to me.
You got to watch it. 13 Ghosts.
I think I've seen it. Sounds.
John, we have to start a reality show where we try to retell horror movies. Like, yeah, and then they're like, Matthew Lillard's like, no, don't go in there. And then like Tony Shalhoub's like, no, me and my kids are fine, leave me alone, crazy guy. And then like,
yeah, and then there's this little girl that pops out of the fucking.
Yeah.
Where'd she come from? She looks
living in the woods.
Yeah.
The walls. His name is Baby Brahms.
Wait, I gotta ask you because I got to ask them. What were your Halloween shit growing up? Like, what did you watch? Was it cartoon stuff?
No, I watched Halloween, and I watched, The Evil Dead was the biggest influence ever. I grew up in the VHS days, and so we would go to the store and look for
both from Jersey.
Cool stuff.
Oh,
yeah, I grew up in New Jersey.
Where are you from, Jersey?
Teaneck,
Oh, nice. Tom's River.
Bergen County. Oh, right on.
Yeah. Short trash.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, we're just we're like North Jersey. We have everything in Teaneck.
Yeah, you do. You guys got it made in Teaneck.
But yeah, we had a tight video store. Great American
Yeah.
Video was one of them.
Oh.
My friend Dwayne worked there and like raided the porn section. That's besides the point. But anyway, it was right next to the horror section. But yeah, we would find like which movies had the coolest artwork. I Spit on Your Grave was a good one. Evil Dead. I mean, I can remember renting it so many times and then watching it with friends and scaring ourselves to death and then being like, this is awesome. And that was kind of the start for me. And Halloween. And, you know, anytime my parents went out of town, the babysitter, we would just convince the babysitter to let us stay up and watch stuff, my sister and I. And then, you know,
yeah,
that was really it. And
do you guys prefer the type of horror movie that either puts everything right in front of your face with like the jump scare and gore stuff, or you prefer the shit that you can't really see coming, that you know is like in the background?
I prefer can't really see. I like the psychological horror movies.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I really like stuff that feels like kind of has something to do with the end of the world or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I like it all. I mean, again, like grew up on the like VHS slasher movies. So, you know, I love campy, shitty, you know, B, C, D level movies where, you know, I mean, just, you know, practical effects where they're just trying so hard to make it look real, but you're like, that looks like a rubber head all of a sudden.
Oh God, yeah. Killer Clowns from Outer Space was always one that I loved.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Rewatching over and over again. I just watched one.
Sorry.
What'd you say?
I said, shout out John Massari.
Oh, there's one, and I'm bummed I cannot remember the name, but I know you guys will know it as soon as I say it. I'd never seen it before, and my friend and I went to visit him in New York, and he had me watch it. It's one where there are these frog people, and
people.
The guys.
Frog people. Are you talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No. Yes, that's it.
And there's no rat guy.
Yeah. He's like an old ninja. It's like Mr. Miyagi. No. So the concept of the whole thing is like it's from the 80s. There's this guy who has to wear, like, men have to wear like a chastity belt around their, obviously, like around their genitals, because male sperm is super rare and like women are in charge, and like they frog people.
I think I missed this one.
Oh, dude, wait a minute, I gotta find it. I cannot. God, it's so great.
People with chastity belts.
Oh God, it's just so good. So yeah, so like there's like the population is down, so like men have to like mate with like specific women or whatever to keep it going, and they just basically use men up. But like these frog, the other war that they're fighting is like a bunch of frog people, and they're trying to fuck women. And the one main frog dude has like 3 dicks.
Reminds me of another movie that was a cross between those two sections I mentioned before called Drill.
True story?
Yes. Yes, it's a true story.
It's actually a true story that happened in New Jersey.
This really happened?
Yeah.
Yes, this is all Jersey news.
It's either New Jersey or Long Island next to 3 Mile Island. But yeah.
Oh, it's Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yes.
I've never seen it, but I've heard of Frogtown.
Yeah.
Why don't they do that maze at Universal?
Too many dicks.
I'm gonna guess it's because the Frog King with 3 dicks.
Yeah.
That does a dance, by the way. It's pretty impressive.
Should we write a song about that movie?
Please.
I mean, we're going in tomorrow.
Yeah, we are going tomorrow.
We're
writing songs tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys should watch that movie and please write a song about it. But I like there's that movie. I liked Thanksgiving. Bad movies like that. I love Thanksgiving.
I love the
Santa Sleigh.
Who made, in the middle of the Grindhouse movie, there's like the Thanksgiving. Was that Eli Roth? Did he make that? It's like a little trailer for a movie that isn't real called Thanksgiving. Yes. It is so. That's one of my favorite.
Absolutely.
Trailers ever.
Have you guys seen Santa Sleigh with Rube Goldberg?
I haven't seen that.
Okay, so that movie. Robert Culp is in it, and he plays an old man who is like he kind of like knows what's going on throughout the whole thing. Anyway, So Santa, there's a kid in a town. He's in love with a girl, and he doesn't really like Christmas that much. His whole family's about it. And Santa comes back, and it's Rube Goldberg, and he's not like basically an angel beat him in a game of shuffleboard, or not shuffleboard. What's the one where you grab a thing and you slide it across the ice?
Oh, it's like
Curling?
curling with the
Curling. He beats him in a curling match. He beats the devil's son in a curling match, and then tells him for 1,000 years he has to deliver gifts to children on the 25th of December. And then 1,000 years passes, and now it's Rube Goldberg and he's Santa, and he rides a sleigh with a giant blue flying ox, or two ox, basically. They're murder ox. And this guy just
3 peni.
Right. Yeah. And this guy just comes down the chimney and like murders. So James Caan is in it for like a second because he gets murdered by a Christmas star thrown by Santa.
Wait,
and so does.
So for 1,000 years, Santa is the devil's son?
He's the devil's son, but he has to give gifts to kids. So he dresses up in a red suit and he has to do all the ho-ho-hoing and the cheer. But then after 1,000 years, the bet's off. So then he just starts murdering again. And it's pretty great. It's called Santa's Sleigh. And he takes his vengeance out on this crazy ass town.
Wait,
Santa's sleigh.
dude,
Santa's sleigh.
Santa's Sleigh rules. I know that movie. Yep.
It's
Dude, that one, and also Snowman, or no,
Yes.
Jack Frost. Jack Frost, the horror movie.
Yes,
Where
100%.
there's a very explicit scene that involves a snowman and a lady in a shower. And let me just say that the nose does not stay in the nose area.
And
it's not the Michael Keaton family friendly movie. It's Jack
which
Frost.
also is technically a horror movie if you spent money on it, which I did. I was a sucker back then. I thought it was going to be great.
I mean, Michael Keaton has had some winners.
He has. Michael Keaton's fucking awesome.
Yeah, 100%. His son is a huge songwriter.
Santa's Sleigh is
I
crazy.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. His son, Sean Douglas. Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas.
Oh, no way. That is so fucking
Stage
weird.
name Michael Keaton because there was a Michael Douglas.
Oh, wow. Fucking 80s.
Yeah.
That is wild. I had no idea. It was like 4 or 5 years ago was the first time I found out that Michael Douglas actually started out as a stand-up, which blew me away because I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he used to do comedy all the time at the Improv. He would drop in and do like shorts because he was an out-of-work actor for a bit, and everybody in the 80s was like, "Fuck it, I guess I'll do stand-up." And he did it for a bit, and he wasn't bad.
Huh? That's crazy.
Yeah, he was actually really good.
Santa's Sleigh looks lit.
What was it?
Santa's sleigh.
looks
Oh,
great.
Santa's Sleigh. I have it on DVD. I bought it at a Blockbuster for $5 when it was going out of business. Best purchase I ever made.
Oh my god! When the Blockbuster and Teaneck went out of business, they put all of their movies in the dumpster. And somebody called me and was like, "Yo, my buddy worked at Subway. The Subway was right next to the Blockbuster.
Right.
My friend was like, "Yo, Blockbuster just emptied out their collection." I was living in Brooklyn, and I picked up 2 of my friends, and we drove back to Teaneck, and we ate at Subway, and we dumpster dove and scored an insane collection of movies.
Can I tell you the cast? Can I tell you the cast of Santa's Sleigh?
Yeah.
Do you know who's in Santa's Sleigh?
Yep.
Would you say James Caan gets killed or something?
James
like
Caan is in the very beginning. Fran Drescher.
Right, Fran
Fran
Drescher, Chris Kattan,
Wait, what year is this?
Rebecca
2005.
Gayheart, yes. Oh,
Tiny Lister.
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Tiny Lister. And then other people that you would just recognize anywhere, like Saul Rubinek.
Oh yeah.
What happened to Rebecca Gayheart? She was in she was in like Jawbreaker and some like cool
Jawbreaker was great.
films, and I think she was in that. But what happened to her? She's gone.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Evaporated from the scene.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
what the fuck
crazy.
did
I
happen
never
to her?
even knew about
Weird
this.
looking, alien looking.
Oh,
Why
that's
is
Santa's.
Chris Kattan in Santa's Sleigh?
So
Yeah.
so the very beginning of Santa's Sleigh is like it immediately hooks you in because it's fucking hysterical. Santa comes down the chimney, and at the table is Chris Kattan, James Caan, Fran Drescher, and oh my god, I can't remember the other 2, but you know who they are.
Insane.
And it's I swear to God, they were like, and there goes the budget. So he
Right.
comes down and then he literally just starts breaking the legs off tables, stabbing them, throwing a Christmas star. He puts the turkey knife into James Caan's hand and leaves him at the table while he murders his family.
Amazing.
It's the best.
What more?
And then he goes to a strip club. Wait a
Right.
minute. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is Santa goes to a strip club and starts and you know who else is in it too? Dave Thomas, who I had on the show.
Yeah, Dave Thomas.
From SCTV.
Yeah,
Dave Thomas, man. So he plays a pastor who's at the strip club.
and the owner of Wendy's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and the owner. He
Also-
raised that little girl.
He did.
Yes. He used his Santa's slave
I went
money.
to the first Wendy's in America, which is in Columbus, Ohio.
Holy shit! How was that?
The day when I was on tour, it was tight. They have like a Wendy doll that's in like a case. It kind of looks like Annabelle. Like now that I think about it, but it's like, yeah, they have like all sorts of weird memorabilia in there and stuff. And
That's why I love that you're like they have a Wendy's doll in a case. What if it was actually his daughter and she was just like, "Get me the fuck out of this glass case."
Yeah. They embalmed her and put some yarn on her head, orange yarn hair, and then put her in this case, and there she is.
Oh my god! I think we have our next horror movie.
I mean, yeah, it's like
That-
Annabelle meets fast food.
That would be
What's
fucking
more
amazing.
scary on both sides, right?
Yeah.
What
You don't know. You know what I want to ask you guys? I did not ask when your writing process, when you're making stuff for this kind of specific thing, is it something you hear in your head first, or do you actually have to sit down to write? Like, what's the process there? Is it like, oh, this is playing in my head 24/7. I've got a tune, I've got an idea, and then you sit down to write, or is it the other way around?
I think it's usually the other way around, at least for me. Usually, sometimes, I mean, with stuff like this, we're like collecting ideas all year. For Lvcrft, it's like it'll be May, and we'll see something that's funny or dark, or just we'll be talking about something and be like, oh, that's a good idea for a song. I'm just going to write it down on a piece of paper or a piece of paper. What the fuck is that? In my phone, And so I have a list of like song ideas in my phone that just like, then it's like, then we go in tomorrow and it's like, oh, what are we going to write about? It's like, oh, we had this idea like Skinwalker, which is what happened last year. That was on Evan was on your list. You're like, let me look at my list. You're like, oh, what about Skinwalker? It's like, okay,
Right.
Let's write that song. What's it about? And it's like, well, I guess it's about a guy who is killing people and wearing their skin or something like that. Like,
No,
it's
Yeah.
skinwalkers are like they're like Native American shapeshifters.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. There's
Right.
lots of
I learned that from watching.
TikTok.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Well, there is Skinwalker Ranch, but I actually learned that from watching bad
Star
CW,
Wars.
bad CW shows.
Oh my god! Oh, you mean? Oh man,
Uh.
I'm a big. So Supernatural is one of those shows that I should not have gotten hooked on.
Someone made fun of me the other day. Pretty much everybody makes fun of me all the time for loving Supernatural.
Me too. I've watched.
Yeah,
I
Scary
watched
Anna
all
loves it
15
too.
seasons.
Yeah, that's
There were a lot of Skinwalkers and many episodes on Supernatural. I watched every episode and have started watching the Winchesters.
Oh, I haven't started watching that yet. Is that any good?
It's a prequel, yeah.
Sweet.
It's John and John Winchester and it's the parents.
Well, through that show alone, I learned about more cryptoids than I ever knew existed. I kind of like the cryptoid stuff.
Yeah, I learned. It was really educational.
Yeah,
Also, like I said, I love things about like end of the world stuff too.
absolutely.
And it got absurd towards the end, but still, it was fine.
I think the Mothman is my favorite cryptoid because I like that you don't know whether it's necessarily evil. It just exists in like this kind of other dimensional chaotic state where it's just like, hey, some fucked up shit's gonna happen. I thought you should know about it. It's like, can I prevent it? No. Like, only if you're Richard Gere.
The cryptoids are interesting. They're interesting. People's videos on like Reddit and stuff. Of like,
Oh yeah. That stuff genuinely, like sometimes I will go on like Reddit or even TikTok and I'll go to like the creepy TikTok section, even if I know people are like just making videos or whatever, but I'll still go to see which one of them will scare the shit out of me before I fall asleep at night. And they're pretty effective.
We have like a little bit of like goth talk and spooky talk on our, that we follow on our TikTok, and
Do you
so I
guys-
see some of that stuff. But I like I can't remember the name of the account. There's one account that we follow that's like making an ongoing horror movie. Like each video is a scene in a movie, and it's moving forward every time.
Oh,
Right.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know, I can't think of the name of it, but yeah. Do you guys like the alien stuff? Do you dabble in any of that?
Obsessed.
Yeah, me too. It's
Sci-fi?
fascinating.
Yeah.
I want to, like, I have no problem watching or reading anything about it. I've always wanted to see one, or see something. I think I did once, and then that was it. That was like the. I did see a ghost once. You guys have you ever actually seen a ghost?
I showed you a picture of one.
Oh, that's right. The fucking, that was nuts. So wait, so I didn't know I did, but we were talking about weird New Jersey shit. Like, and I was working at a library at one point. I was still doing stand up, but I was working part time at a library, and
That's hilarious. Sorry.
and honestly, it kind of. So I was like coming home late from a gig, and it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on the Parkway in New Jersey, and I see this woman in a gown on the shoulder, like just kind of like light jogging, but kind of moving quickly, right? So I'm more annoyed than anything else because I'm like, fucking, now I got to call 911 and report that there's somebody on the road. There's no cars, there's no crash, but she looks like she's running from something. Fuck. So I call, and then I give them a heads up. I'm like, hey, woman, white gown, kind of like, barefoot, whatever it is. I passed her on mile marker, whatever. So weekend's over, Monday morning rolls around. I get to work, and I'm talking to one of my buddies, and I'm like, yeah, it's really fucking annoying. You call the police for shit, and like they don't even tell you if like you helped or they made it. Like, I have no idea if anything happened. And he was like, well, what happened? So I was like, oh, I'm like, there's this woman on the Parkway, whatever. And he's like, what exits? And I tell him what exit it is, and he goes and gets the fucking this book out, and he like flips to the page, and he was like, that's the fucking story of the what. And it was like this woman that was like murdered in the woods in that area. Like, she was chased down by her fucking husband, and she ran out to the main road to find help, and no one would help her, and so she was dead. And I was like, I almost stopped. Like, I almost
I feel like I've heard of this one, and I feel like in high school we like tried to find it. We're like, let's drive out to whatever on the
Did you read about that in Tobin's Spirit Guide?
Garden State Parkway.
No. What is that? Oh, Tobin's Spirit. I was like, what? I didn't hear you.
It's a real deep cut reference from Ghostbusters.
Oh my god. I was like, wait, what? I was fucking
Tobin's Spirit Guide.
so good.
You can buy it. By the way, you can buy it on Amazon.
Oh my god.
Actually made Tobin's Spirit.
Really?
I mean, I haven't bought it, so I'm sure it's just like things about like Gozer and like things. Like
Yeah. Yeah, my friend bought me the Supernatural John's book or whatever. It's like, it's actually pretty fucking cool, man. It's like whoever did this thing was like super detailed with like all the shit,
cryptoids in it and stuff.
Yeah. It's got all that.
How to kill a werewolf, like that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I was like, you know what? This could come in handy one day. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
What are you guys going as for Halloween this year? Do you still dress up?
I usually don't dress up, but I like to. I've been dressing up our house.
Nice.
And we have the most killer front yard right now. And next year, I'm definitely putting us on the haunt list. We finally scored one of those 12-foot skeletons from Home Depot. I've been trying to get one for literally 5 years, and like I'm on Reddit, and just every once in a while I'm like, the timing is right, and somebody posts, yo, Home Depot, they got them right now, and you have to go immediately to Home Depot and order one. Wow. And so in July I saw the flag went up, and I was like, oh my god, and I went on the website and I ordered one, and they're like, we don't have stock to deliver it, but we got your order. And then also in July we did a convention, and I met someone at the convention that worked at Home Depot. So we did a horror convention called Midsummer Scream, and we had a screaming booth where people coming through taking pictures and screaming. We were recording their screams, and we're making a scream library. But one of the people that screamed was just kind of like hanging out for a while, and I was like talking to the student. He's like, oh yeah, I work at Home Depot. And I was like, dude, I ordered the skeleton, but I don't know if they got my order. I don't know what's going on. He's like, look, I'll give you the inside skinny. Call once a month and check on your order, because it's back ordered, and there's a certain point where they'll release the back orders, and they'll just make them go, sorry, we can't help you. But you call, you can move your back order back into the queue and make sure that they keep it fresh. So I called in August, I called in September, and then I got an email that's like, your skeleton's on the way. It's going to be here the end of October. And then like September 28th, I got an alert like, it's coming tomorrow. And it arrived like the last day of September. I set it up the next day, and I've been gradually enhancing it by I gave it a costume. I made it like some spooky rags, and like
Nice.
It's yeah, I'm hooking it up out there. I was working out there this afternoon. I'm like
Oh,
really
that's fucking
trying
awesome.
to deliver this year.
That's great.
Yeah, but
I'm
yeah, I'm
going.
a costume guy these years. I just
I used to throw a Halloween party every year in my apartment before I moved to LA, before COVID hit and everything. And I would just throw everybody, would like 30 something people, top floor, huge Halloween party. All of us would go, and everybody would kind of either make their costumes. That would be a lot of fun. I haven't dressed up in probably like, I don't know, 5-6 years or whatever, but I'm going to take my nephews out with my buddy.
that's fine.
And I'm gonna put together a costume. I already got some stuff, and I'm going Werewolf of London. So I just made my own shit, tore up like a blazer, got like a Chinese menu. I'm gonna like really kind of like fucking go crazy with the hair.
I see it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna go as a barefoot woman in a white nightgown.
Wait, what'd you say?
I'm gonna go as a barefoot woman in a white nightgown.
On the Jersey Turnpike? I'm sorry, the Garden State Parkway. My bad.
I'd be so fucked up if you actually found me and like just like walked by. Like I'm like, what the fuck? That'd be so great. I've kept you guys for 20 minutes over. Is Deep Cut still here? I want you all on the screen. I got to ask each of you the last 3 questions I ask every guest.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find her. I don't know if we can simulcast because what's on with it?
Oh no, it's you guys can be on the same screen if you want.
No, I feel like I don't know if we can be in the same place at the same time just because we have a toddler.
Oh, got you. Okay.
That's
all right.
right.
Yeah, you can. Then I'll ask you guys while you're here, and if you want to throw her back in,
Yeah,
we can.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so first question, and you guys flip a coin. Whoever goes first is: if you go back in time and talk to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give yourself that would help you today?
Ooh, I know what mine is.
Go for
Start Lvcrft 10 years earlier.
it. Fantastic. What about you, man?
Oh man, God, that's a really good question. I mean, I don't regret any of my story. I took some weird turns to get where I am, but I'm like, I love where I am. So
Yeah,
it's kind of hard. I guess I would tell myself like, God, I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes, but I think those mistakes have made me who I am. So
yeah, exactly. And you don't even have to like correct a mistake. You just say, like, listen, you're going to make mistakes. Stay on the path.
I think maybe stuff like don't throw out like those atom bomb garbage pail kids or something like that. Or like,
Yeah.
Hold on to all this memorabilia that you bought as a kid, and like don't rip it. Don't take it out of the packages. Just put it in.
Don't ruin your Star Wars toys.
Don't exactly. Don't play with your Star Wars toys. Just put them in like.
Yeah.
One day you're gonna be able to resell them on this thing called eBay.
Second question is: what had to end in your life, good or bad, that led you to where you are today?
Ooh.
I got sober 18 years ago.
Oh, congrats, man! That's awesome.
I think I ended a certain part. I ended a certain lifestyle and started a new one, and that definitely changed my whole life. So,
beautiful, man.
Not to make it get all serious for a second.
Oh no, that's serious. You can take it anywhere you want, man. That's great. What about you, man?
I think for me, my musical path, I was working for someone for a long time, and I don't think I really was able to find my real path until I quit that job.
Nice. What made you quit the job?
It just I realized that it wasn't I didn't want to live like that anymore. Like it was a very, very intense job. I was working like 20 hours a day every day for pretty much years, and sacrificing a lot of things from relationships and stuff like that. And granted, I was able to get ahead in my career, and I was able to like, work on huge records and stuff like that, and for the major labels, and really, learn the business and learn my craft. But also there's a point where I probably could have stayed there, and I would have been stuck there forever. But I really felt like, I had to, it was terrifying because I was like, oh, maybe I'll never work again. But right. I realized once I had enough, and part of that thing was like, they were scaring me into like not quitting because I had become such an integral part of this team that I was working on. And
right.
Ultimately it just was like, you know what? The best thing for me to move forward is to like go out on my own and see if I can still if I can make a living. And I'm fortunate enough to still get to make music. And I just feel lucky to be able to do it for a living. I'm really really lucky for that. So
Nice, man.
but that was a big decision. Yeah.
Yeah. And the last question ties into the show. So if this was a genuine dystopia, more so than it is now, and it could be your choice of a government collapse, aliens, zombies, climate change, aliens, you know, or a comet heading toward the Earth, but you wake up, it's everybody's last day and you know it.
Yeah.
What would be your epic death? How would you want to go out? And what would be happening?
Oh,
Wow. I would say epic death for me would be let's climb to the highest point we can and let's watch it all burn down and let the fucking nukes come down and blow us all up at the same time. Let's all go out together in literal blaze of melting glory.
Excellent.
Mine's gonna be so lame compared to that, but that's how I feel about it. I just feel like there's something so terrifying about watching a comet coming at you, or like knowing that your death is impending. So my thing would be the night before all of this shit goes down, dying in my sleep.
Tailbot.
Oh fuck! Oh, that's so sick. You don't even get to live out the next day.
Dying peacefully in my sleep the night before everybody else dies a terrifying death of Armageddon and comets and zombies.
Wow. If you know that humanity and everything is about to get fully wiped, is it scary? I don't know. I feel like it's not that scary. You're just like, well, here it comes. You know,
yeah.
The moment that it's coming and coming and coming, it's just I don't know.
Can I say that's the way I felt?
Kind of beautiful for 30 seconds.
When I watch movies like Deep Impact, it's like, and they're just she's standing there with her dad.
Night of the Comet.
The water's coming at them, and I'm like, no.
I don't want water. I definitely don't want water. I don't want.
No, not water, because then you're like, it's
Vaporize
not instant.
Vaporize me. That's it.
Yeah, but so it's saying a nuke bomb that feels like that could be painful for like a split second, but like
I don't think so. I think just vaporize.
Like, what about the Earth just exploding all at once?
Yeah. And then you're like on a chunk, like, where am I?
No, not that. You're right.
Let me go see if I can find deep cuts real quick.
All right, sweet.
Yeah,
this is how much of a nerd I am. The Earth splitting up in chunks reminded me of the Secret Wars comic book from 1984, where like the Beyonder like split up these chunks and made Battle World. I'm like, Battle World would be sick.
Battle World would be sick,
right?
Yeah.
And then you have to.
For me, also, like I think about like what would be like the greatest. I think about like what would be the greatest thing to happen after everyone dies.
Oh.
You said I almost joke when you said what had to end for you to like, whatever. I was gonna say the world, and now we're in our Matrix.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh hell yeah!
I'm not even kidding. That looks almost identical to the pumpkin I carved the other night.
Are you being funny? Because that was funny, and I also believe you.
No,
is that a true story?
The true story. I carved a pumpkin the other night.
Crate's like put it on the bottom. Is this his first time carving a pumpkin?
Oh my god!
He didn't do the top off. He did the bottom.
He did the bottom.
What?
Wait, was it so he could put it on his head?
No. So you could put a light in it, maybe.
Oh,
you do it from the top. You do it from the top.
Did he lose his marbles?
Oh my god! You did it on the bottom. That's so weird.
Tell me about it. Like, do I need to call
someone? The top.
Yeah,
what kind of interesting
is this? Yeah, it makes it really impossible to move around.
Yeah, there has to be a reason for that. It's got to go on something. Maybe he's making a scarecrow.
I think he just blew it. I think he just fucked it up. Really.
Oh my god.
He said to come out here though.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with the last three questions that I hit those guys with. Okay, so first one is if you go back in time and talk to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give yourself to help you today?
Oh, I would say, that's always such a good one. I would say just focus on making great stuff, and don't give energy to stuff you don't have control over, essentially.
Love that. That's a good message. And the second question is, what had to end in your life, good or bad, that led you to where you are today?
Ooh. What had to end in my life that yes. Probably some bands that I truly love that I spent many years in that I needed to break up with the band
Yeah.
in order to move forward, even though it was, those were tough decisions.
Yeah. You just
'cause
knew
it
you had to
wasn't-
be somewhere else.
Yeah, I just wanted different things, and to get there, I couldn't keep doing the same, I guess.
It's like leaving a relationship.
It's like leaving a relationship when no one's been shitty to the other person.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the toughest. It's really easy to leave if there's a cheater or cheating or where you can be like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, but when it's like, I just want different things. It's just like a really tougher zone to do.
It helps if you shout it. I think I might try that next time if I shout it.
So it's like you're accusing someone of cheating.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That way you still get the anger in, but it's really nicer than that.
Yeah.
You're a great person, but I need to leave you.
Yeah. Essentially, it's just that vibe.
Yeah. And the last question is tied into the show. So if this was a genuine dystopia and you had your choice, more so than it is now, and you had your choice of like government collapse or alien zombies, a comet heading toward the Earth, climate change, whatever it is, you wake up and you know it's everybody's last day on Earth. What would be your epic death? How would you want to go out?
What?
Yeah.
John. Wow. Oh, man. Wow. I think this is going to sound like wickedly hippie of me, but I think I would just want to go out like jamming so hard.
Nice.
I think I would just want to go out making music. Like I feel so lucky I get to do it every day. I feel gross when I haven't made music in 2 days. Like sometimes the business side of music is just, you have to babysit that as well. And so I think like I'd be hanging out with my family and just rocking out, man.
Nice. Fucking awesome. Love it. You know what I love? So we have an artist that draws everybody's final moment on the show, and that's the album of the thing. I kind of like all of yours combined, where Lil Pumpkin
I'm sleeping.
He's dead sleeping. He died the night before in his sleep. So you guys are gonna have to drag his body to the top of the mountain while the nukes are coming down, and you're just gonna be jamming out.
Or be like, Pumpkin's like, I got out early, dude. This is not gonna end well.
Yeah,
absolutely. You guys have been fucking awesome. I'm so glad I got to talk to you.
And this is so much fun.
Yes.
And we're definitely gonna hit you up when we come east. You gotta tell us where to go.
So absolutely.
Vice versa. Are you gonna be in LA anytime soon?
I'm hoping to come out to LA after the new year. I'm hoping like January, February when it gets, because it's cold and dead here and I don't need to be here. So I'm hoping to come out and escape in LA.
Yeah, escape to LA.
Escape to LA. Yes.
Dude, Evan, write it down. Escape to LA, the sequel.
Wait, true story? Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Yep.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.
Dystopia tonight.